So, good morning, everyone. This is the second lecture of APT. This comes under Module 5, Part Programming for CNC Machines. So now, in the last class, we have discussed about some examples, how we will specify some points, lines, circle, pattern like that. In this class, we will discuss about how the geometry statement can be specified. So there are some certain rules. So rules for formulating APT geometry statements. So coordinate data, first one, the coordinate data must be specified in the order of X, then Y, then Z. That I have already discussed in the last class. Okay. So you cannot omit these three things, the sequence of these three things. Second one is the any symbols used as descriptive data must have been previously defined. Okay, so like you have to, if you want to mention one line and it will be going through some point, so this point you have to previously specify. Sorry, that I have also mentioned. A symbols can be used define only one geometry element. Okay, so and fourth one is the only one symbol can be used to define any given element. So that's these four things I have already specified in the last class. So now the motion command, how the geometry commands you will understand. You have already understood how geometry commands will be specified, like line, point, circle, pattern, like this. Now these things you have to mention how the motion commands can be specified. Okay, so how the specified motion commands can be specified, the format can be apt command is the motion command slash descriptive data. So example is the go to. So if this go to is the another vocabulary, new vocabulary for you for the apt. So if you want to state one tool to move somewhere, some point, then you have to mention this type of vocabulary, that is English like language, go to, GOTO. Okay, the statement consists of two sections separated by a slash, as like previous one. The first section is the basic command that indicates what move the tool should make. So go to means you have to specify the tool from one point to another point, it will be moved. The descriptive data following the slash tell the tool where to move, where to go. Okay. So now this is the motion comments. Motion comments from PTARG. So it is also called PTARG. So it's a target point. Okay. So from somewhere in the G28 in the CNC, this is a home position. So it is like also home positions of APT. Okay, P target or target point. So it is looks like the target point, that is it's where to go, but not like that. It is from where the tool starts its movement. So P target is the tool from where the starts its movement, and go to is the command where tool needs to be go. So this is the from -20 comma 0. So where from is an APT vocabulary word indicating that this is the initial point, and PT is the P target is the assigned to the starting point. So initial point and starting point, as like the CNC, you know. So some PTRG is the home positions of the tool. This is specified by the company of the manufacturer of the CNC machine. Okay, so as like G20 is the home positions of the tool, P target is the home position of the tool. So from the P target to the starting point, or I have mentioned 0 0 in the CNC, 0 or 0 0 0. So it is the initial point. As like also, so from P target to initial point. So for this you have to mention from statement. So from is the initial point, P target is the home position, and go to is the command to the tool where to go. Okay, so from -20 0 means it's the initial point from the tool is going to the point. So you have from some points, and another is the go. Now there are only two comments, go to and okay. So go to and go delta is like G90, and go delta, that is mental mode. Okay, G91. So what is G90, G91? If you try to recall G90, So if you have recalled that G90 is the code where it's a absolute positioning. That means every points you have to mention. If this is the point, so it will be calculated from 0 0. If second point P2 is there, it will be also calculated from 0 0. So every points will be calculated from 0 0. That means it will be a G90 comment or absolute mode of programming. So similar things is also here. It's a for APT is the go to comments. Go delta is like incremental. So what is the difference between absolute and incremental in CNC? It is nothing but every point is calculated from the 0 0 point is this G90 absolute mode of programming and G91. So how G91 can be made? So if this P1 and P2 is there, so if you want to mention P1, you have to mention some coordinate point from 0 0. Now if you want to move the tool from P1 to P2, you have to mention P2 point. So now this time you will not calculate this coordinate point of P2 from 0 0 because it's an incremental mode. Now you will calculate the movement, how the x coordinate and y coordinate will change from the P1 point. So in incremental mode, every point will be calculated from the previous point, okay, not from the origin point. But in the absolute mode, every point is calculated from the origin point. So this is the basic difference in between absolute mode of programming and incremental mode of programming. And here is the similar things. If you have understood the absolute and incremental, then you have already understood how the go to and go delta point is working. So go to you have already, you can mention like this, go to slash P2. If you have already mentioned P2 somewhere previously, if you have not mentioned P2 somewhere previously, you have to mention like this, go to slash 25 comma 0 40 comma 0. Oh, this is the x coordinate, y coordinate and z coordinate, like that. So if you are mentioning go to, then automatically this code will be understood by from the origin point. So this is 25 means it's a code from the coordinate point. It is somewhere 25 from the x, somewhere 40 from the y, and somewhere in the plane of xy. So that's why 0 is the z coordinate. But similarly, if you want to mention go delta after followed by 50, 120 and 40, what does it mean? It will not calculate P2 point like P1 if you have already mentioned. Okay, from P1 to P2 you want to mention some comments, go delta, and you have mentioned 50, 120 and 40. That means it will be calculated from P1 point. The movement of x coordinate will be 50, y coordinate will be 120 and z coordinate will be 40, not from the origin point but from the initial point, that is P1 or the previous point. Okay, so this is the basic difference in between go to and go delta. So here also 3 digits are you are specifying, go to is also you are specifying 3 digits. So what is the difference? Here it will be x and y and z will be calculated from the origin point. Here it will be calculated from the previous point, not from the origin point. So if it is the go delta is the first point, then it will be no issue. Then it will be calculated from the origin point. But if you are mentioning some points with another points is there which is in the previous point, then these three things are different. It will be movement of x and y and z, like that. Okay, so this is the go to and go delta point. So you have to mention go delta point, and generally go delta point useful for drilling and related machining operation. So it's an example, go to P2. Okay, so you are mentioning go to point from origin point, it will move P2. Now you are specifying go delta 0 0 minus 50. That means it will be along plane and it will be only moving downward at the 50, okay, or 50 millimeter of depth it will be moving. And go delta 0 0 50, that means after drilling it will be again go to its previous position. That's why this the go delta slash 0 0 50, like that. Okay, it is actually used for or versatilely used for go delta. So if you have any query, please ask.